You've been playing the Evil Twin wrong. And what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Cutlass Board Games channel. That's right, I'm accusing you of playing the Evil Twin wrong, and I don't mean mechanically incorrectly, and this is the thing that we're going to be diving into. The Evil Twin is a criminally underappreciated character in Blood on the Clocktower. It very, very rarely shows up on non-base 3 scripts when people are creating custom things, and we saw it show up a bunch in the script competition because that was one of the 6 options. And even when our group was testing those games, the Evil Twin would rarely go into the bag. Now, I want to talk about some things as to why I believe the Evil Twin is underappreciated, because I believe it has a lot of unexplored space. And I've made a example set up for 10 players of Sex and Violence with some notes of some topics that I'm going to cover as we go through this. But I want to start off with the mutant example. Now, when new players to Blood on the Clocktower start playing the game for the first time, they start with Trouble Brewing. There's no madness in the game, and when you are evil, you kind of pick a townsfolk character, and oftentimes something simple the better, and then you try and, convince other good players that you are a good player. And a lot of your social read is going to be more natural and organic because you're going to be like, I don't really know what's going on. In my very first game on the Clocktower, it was a 15-player game. We had the 16th player, which was the Beggar Traveler. We had a Scarlet Woman, which was me. We had a Poisoner. We had the Demon. We had somebody else. And the entire evil team claimed to be the Soldier. None of us had talked to the Demon and received the Demon bluffs. We all just claimed to be the Soldier. And so there was 4 Soldier claims. And then in the final 3, it was me, the Scarlet Woman, the Demon, and 1 good player. One of our evil players had been shown to be evil by the Beggar, and I changed my claim to be the Saint at the last minute. Everyone was like, that's crazy, we're going to execute you because you have to be evil, and I was not the Demon, and so we won. That didn't, allow me to show our prowess for the game. It didn't, rely me on, providing a very good social read. I picked what seemed to be the easiest, and on the final day I was like, actually I'm the Saint because that says please don't execute me. And that, was kind of how I got started, right? And the mutant example is kind of similar. As people graduate to Sex and Violence, when they read what the mutant text does, where it says, if you claim to be an outsider, you die, to simplify, and that's how people will understand it the first time that they read it, they go, oh, I can't say that I'm the mutant. I will not tell anyone what my character is. I will just say nothing and I will be quiet. And I've seen this time and time again with new players where they think that the mutant means that they have to not say anything. And then graduating from that, we then see characters like the Damsel, where this kind of meta develops, right? Where if someone is the Damsel, they haven't claimed they've been really quiet the whole time, they're likely to get minion guessed. And so that means that if you're the Damsel, you go, I don't want to get minion guessed, therefore I have to be convincingly not the Damsel. I have to claim to be another townsfolk character. I have to do something that is going to convince the evil team that I'm not the Damsel. And that is the progression that I want to start looking at here with the Evil Twin, because I believe the Evil Twin has that same vibe to it that the Spy in Trouble Brewing does, right? Like the Spy is a character that has this really easy base level thing where it's like, oh, you've registered as something, the washwoman thinks that you're this character, and you go, yeah, that's me, right? That's, day 1 player's option for playing with that character. Later down the line, the Spy seeing the Grimoire multiple nights in a row has the ability to set up some long-term plays, has to give some, useful information to the Demon. The more you understand about the game, the more in-depth you're able to use his character, and I believe Evil Twin is the same. Now, let's talk about some of the reasons and the challenges for why Evil Twin suffers. And a lot of it is the environment upon which the players play with this character. I'm going to start with the exclusionary meta. Way back when I was running games of the horse, Sex and Violence was the thing that you graduated to. We didn't run experimental stuff. It was always just base 3. Beginners would play Trouble Brewing, and then advanced people would go and play Sex and Violence, and sometimes Bad Men Rising. That was kind of how it was. And with the Evil Twin, people would kind of come out on the first day. They'll be like, I'm a twin, that person is my twin, blah, blah, blah. And then people would just not talk to them. It didn't matter which twin it was. It's like, I know one of you is evil. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk to you. And that makes it really hard for the twins to interact with the game and do anything. And I think this is kind of the beginning where people are introduced to this character and they go, I hate that. I don't want to be out of public evil and have no ability to, like, no agency to do anything myself and change how this is. And if people are just not going to talk to me, I'm not playing the game. And that's not a thing that is encouraged by the character, like the mutant's text reads, right? That is something that is encouraged by people's reaction to this thing. When the job of the evil twin is to convince the good team that they are a good player. You don't read it like there is a good player who has a Saint Loss condition where if they're executed they lose. Read that you have an evil player that if they convince the town that they are good, they win the game. And I think that this is a much better way of looking at the character, because that's how you should be playing the evil twin. And I'm going to elaborate on this a bit more, but yeah, the exclusionary meta makes it really, really hard to engage as an evil twin. And so if you are encouraging the twins to be interacting with people, the twins are more aggressive in trying to start dialogue with other people. This is the information I have. This is what I think it means. This is me trying to world build. You're working together with the good team as much as you can to try and make things happen. And I think that that's kind of important. And that kind of leads into my next point with a social read, where your goal is the evil twin, because you don't have information, you don't generate misinformation. Your goal is to cultivate just the best social read that you can. There's no other character really, which is like, if you convince the good team that you are also good, you win, right? And so, like the goblin is the opposite. If you fail to convince the good team that you are the goblin, you win, right? This is kind of the opposite of that. You need to deliver the best social read that you can, so that you can. I don't mean like the demon not getting executed on the final day. That's different, because that's like not part of the character specific ability. That's just what the role does and how it works. And you can just have somebody else be more evil than you, and they still think you're evil, and it's not gonna matter, right? But the evil twin does nothing if everyone instantly thinks that you're the evil twin. If no one for a moment believes that you were possibly the good twin, you lose. You've done nothing. You've not interacted with the character at all. And that's kind of what I'm trying to encourage here. You want to try and cultivate your good social read. And part of that is going to be showing off your bluffing skills. Some of the best games that I've played in recent memory have been because something has happened and I've been able to convince the town of my bullshit information or whatever. Famous example from a recent game. I know it's uploaded somewhere on the channel. It's all disorganized. I don't know when it comes out or if it's out already, but there was a wizard wish made that made every second townsfolk poisoned and every other townsfolk have a second ability. And I knew this because the wizard whispered it to me and I was the demon. And so I claimed to have been a starting character, not like a you start knowing, I mean like a different starting townsfolk that gained the dreamer ability of an in-play dreamer. And so I go, yeah, I'm the dreamer, but no, I'm like, that's not what my token is. I have the dreamer ability, and this is what's been happening to me. This is the information that I've got. I must conclude that this is the evil team. And because what I was bluffing fell in line with the wizard wish, the wizard wish was too hard for people to discern exactly what had happened, and the information that I was giving was sometimes correct, which was enough. And I was able to corroborate with the other dreamer some people's characters that I had not talked to in advance because I had heard secondhand from other evil team members and stuff like that. And then I'm able to go, here's my dreamer information. I think this makes me, maybe credible. And the way that works is the bluff worked. The character functioned as expected. Everyone, like the information fit with how everyone felt that the game was kind of running. And that was how I convinced people. That's how I kind of run most games as an evil player. I'm trying to build a world. I'm trying to see where my information fits in with that. And that's kind of how it goes. And I want to talk about some of the characters that I've picked out, because in showing off your bluffing skills, that means that the character given to the evil twin, I know this kind of, runs under the second thing of the STs picking better pairs, but you want to be pairing the evil twin with really hard information characters to bluff. Because if the evil twin gets it correctly, gets to deliver an interesting narrative, or it's like really difficult to solve generally, and that evil twin has, that already level of doubt on how precise their information has to be, what they are delivering can be really impactful, and it can be a lot easier to believe them in their evil twin bluff. And I've picked out some characters that I think are good for this. Now, the Flower Girl is fantastic because the evil twin will know exactly which information is correct because they know who the demon is. They can give exactly specific Flower Girl information. And in theory, if they have another minion that is a pit hag, they can just give Flower Girl information that gets the demon killed. And then the pit hag can turn themselves or the evil twin into another demon because the evil twin stops the game from ending once the demon is dead. In this scenario, the evil twin can throw the demon under the bus. I've played a game where, and they've changed how this works because of this one specific game. I talk about it a lot, but basically, I was the Fangu. I was claiming to have... I was claiming to be the Sage. I was claiming to have Sage information. And as the Fangu, I selected a dead outsider, and because I had not jumped yet, selecting a dead outsider kills me, the Fangu, and the dead outsider became the evil dead Fangu. This is a thing that they changed, so you cannot do this anymore. But basically, the outsider got woken up in the middle of the night. It's like, you are evil now. And they're like, what the fuck? I die, and I go, I was the Sage. This is my Sage information. I fundamentally believe these two people can't be the demon. It therefore must be Vortox, and this, is the orientation of the evil twin pair, and we have to execute the good twin because I believe they are the Vortox right now. And people were totally unable to solve for the fact that, as the Fangu, I had just killed myself. To be able to solve for the game. And so sometimes taking the demon off the table can help you push to get the good twin executed, can help you push to, pull off a pit hag play or something like that. And thinking about how else you can use, the powers that you have on the evil team to your advantage, or the information that you have, can be very good. If the evil twin goes, hey, I used my Flower Girl information, we killed the Nodashi, there was no death last night, you have to trust that my information was true and correct. That is the evil twin. I'm the good twin. Could potentially work and win you the game. Let's talk about some of the other pairs here. Mathematician is kind of good because Mathematician is kind of always vague. But having each night information is always better for an evil twin because they have, first of all, a reason to talk to people beyond just the first day. Because after the first day, if the evil twin has done all their shit, then they come back and go, well, I don't have anything new to contribute. I'm relying on you to tell me things. And people are already hesitant to do that because they have a coin's flip chance of being evil. So if they have an each night info thing, then it's much more likely that they'll be able to do something helpful. But this still ascribes game balance because the good twin who has this each night powerful info ability is pseudo protected from execution. And also the demon is unlikely to target them at night because of the evil twin ability. So it makes for a really interesting dynamic in that way. And I've seen way too many games where the evil twin gets the Clockmaker. I think that is a fucking mistake. I think you should never do that because every single player goes, great, these two people are twins. A Clockmaker number is this. Therefore, this is exactly 4 players that could be the demon according to this information. And if it's 9 players or less, then they are the only people you need to execute unless if it's a Vortox. And that's really shithouse, and it also doesn't encourage the evil twin to ever actually need to go and talk to other people. They go, here's my number, I will shut the fuck up for the rest of the game. And that sucks, a lot. Instead, it's like, hey, I'm the mathematician, I got a 0 last night. I need to know if it's either a Vortox or, if other people are getting correct information. Has anyone heard of a Dreamer? And if they hear of the Dreamer, they can pass in information of the demon and stuff like that. I think there's a lot more strategic depth to the evil twin that people haven't had a chance yet to uncover. Savant is another great example. Pulling off an insane Savant bluff is really impressive. If you can write up some fake fucking pairs of information that just perfectly nail the good team to the wall where they just have no idea what's going on. They're trying to solve for the wrong thing. They're trying to put so many pairs together. But also you'll have the good twin who is the savant who is also giving pairs. And so when there's like several nights of good savant getting wonky information and a bad savant giving wonky information, it's so hard for the good team to figure out what pairs of information belong with what pairs of information. And I think that's really interesting as well. It can potentially, skew more towards the good team in that way because, they're going to get lots of Knights of Savant information. But if it's a Vortox, then the Evil Twins Bluff has free reign to say whatever the fuck they want. The actual Savant must get false information. And so the Evil Twins fake info can potentially help hide a Vortox world if they have something that is potentially true in a way. And then the Dreamer. I would only do the Dreamer if it is a Vortox. And then when you're giving Vortox to Dreamer information, it has to be actually still helpful. Where if someone is bluffing as a character and they are not that character, that's the thing that you show. Because when they figure out it's a Vortox, they go, oh, I know you are not this. The thing that you claimed. And it actually becomes helpful. And then single-use stuff like the Seamstress and the Artist is really tough. I would only use them in a small play count game. In a bigger play count game, you want to be an asterisk character so that you do have stuff that you can be continually contributing. And I think stuff like the Dreamer and the Mathematician, because they do get something on the first night, they will be able to wake up and on the first day, chat with people and go, hey, I have information. And because your claim is going to be public as well, you want to be something that when you claim it publicly, it is helpful. Being an interaction character, like the Philosopher, like the Snake Charmer, like the Sage, is not helpful. There's no real time when the Town Crier, good twin goes, yeah, I fucking know that's the evil twin. If you just nominate every day, I know what my information is. Every other minion is hidden, so it's not very helpful. And so, it can be a bit goofy. Focusing on really hard info characters, I think, is really interesting. And that's but it also needs to be something that's not mechanically proven, right? If you have a good twin lycanthrope, the good twin lycanthrope goes, this is just who I picked every night, and that person dies. And the demon can't follow that, and the evil twin can't do anything about that. So you want to have stuff that's not easily mechanically proven to be good. Which is a bit rough, but you want to have something that gives the evil twin that opportunity to really showcase their skills, right? Being the evil twin is a challenge. You need to fool every member of the good team. You must convince them more so than the good twin, who is actually a good player, who does actually have real information, that you are the good one, that you have the good, useful information. And I don't see enough people rising to that challenge. And that's kind of why I wanted to make a video about it. I wanted to talk about why I think the Evil Twin is a great character and why I think people are underappreciating this gem because they haven't transitioned from that first time playing Sex and Violets and then moving along. And a lot of storytellers don't put the Evil Twin in the bag because they understand that the fan reception in the same way is not very positive. And so we need to be challenging people more to run the gamble and give us some great Evil Twin performances. All right. Well, that's my bit. I want to come back and start talking about characters like this a little bit more, but I was just inspired by a comment from Ryan, who we do play with regularly, talking about the Evil Twin, and I wanted to elaborate on it a little bit more because it's worth talking about. I think it's an underappreciated character. And look, if you want to see more stuff like this, I have a playlist up on the screen of a whole bunch of other Blood on the Clock Tower content where you can see me running games, you can see me playing games, you can see me doing some silly stuff and playing around with this game that we're all here playing. And we're all here trying to do our best to run a good game.